Hello everyone. I'm so excited to finally be able to report to you not only from Israel, but from right here in Yerushalayim and at the Kotel, our holy site. This past week was truly magical. Last Shabbat, we all spent it together in the town of Hod HaSharon. As a school, we were welcomed so warmly in the central synagogue by the Rabbi. We had everything that we could possibly want to recharge both physically and spiritually. Delicious meals, we had singing, we had activities, games, sessions and speakers. We really recharged and were ready for a week of academics and trips. During their academic programs this past week, they began their Soul Center sessions with their teachers from Machon Lev, who introduced them to the topic of Torah and science and how the two relate to each other. In their morning Joe sessions, they had the privilege of hearing from speaker Yahya Mahmid, a Palestinian who grew up in El-Fahim, a Palestinian that grew up from a young age being taught to hate, only to make such a transformation in his life that eventually not only did he enlist in the IDF, but he also travels around the world to talk about Zionism and his love for Israel. They're going to hear from Rabbi Dr. Daniel Roth tomorrow as he tells them about his journey as he travels around the world, literally creating world peace, as he mediates and does consensus building between the most polarized parties that we could possibly imagine. In their film class, they were introduced to director Einat Kapach as she spoke to them about what components go into creating a narrative film. This Shabbat, of course, they're going to be going to their host families and friends, and we can't wait to welcome them back on campus and hear from their experiences of how Shabbat went for them and to welcome them back. Next week is also, of course, full of activities. They're going to be going to Shalem College and hearing from the president of the university and famous podcaster Ross Roberts. They're going to be going to Maleh Film School and seeing the very place itself. They're going to go to Kfar Qasim and go to the mosque and hear from the Sheikh himself as he tells them about his journey as a Palestinian, as a leader in the Palestinian world, trying to bridge the gap between Palestinians and Israelis. They're going to continue their Soul Center sessions, their Israel studies, their Hebrew classes, their phys ed, and of course, they're going to finish their sessions with Sefi Kraut and actually begin their first session with Dr. Mordechai Kedar from Bar Ilan University. I want to share with you a quick lesson from this week's parasha, from this week's Torah portion, that I think very much relates to the experiences that our students are going through. We're 2 weeks into their journey, and I think it's fitting right now for me to speak about one of the major advantages of this experience of JLA Ba'aretz. Our students, as they're away from their home, from their comfort, from their safety, from their parents, from everything that they've known, are obviously being put in a situation where they have to learn to become independent. And they're building a tremendous amount of confidence as they're going through that process. There is a mitzvah in this week's parasha that really talks to that point. The mitzvah says as follows: Lo tireh et chamor achicha o et shoro noflim baderech, v'italamta mehem, hakem takim imo. If you see your friend's donkey or ox walking in the road and it's carrying a load and for whatever reason it's too heavy, or because it wasn't strapped on properly, it fell, don't just walk by, but rather help the guy. Help him put the load back onto his donkey or to his ox so that he can continue along in his way. But the Torah uses an interesting language, as our commentators point out. Hakem takim imo. You must lift it together with him. If you see him standing aside and he's just simply watching you as you lift it onto his donkey and his ox, then you have no obligation whatsoever to help him. It's if he himself is helping himself, then you need to help him too. Our students are learning to become independent, but by no means does that mean that they're alone. As they are carrying their own burden of independence, as they themselves are building confidence through that process, everyone around them is here to help them. Their faculty, their staff, their madrichim and madrichot, and yes, of course, even their peers that are there with them. It is something beautiful to watch as our students blossom to become confident, independent human beings that are thoughtful, respectful, and have the opportunity to help each other and bond through that experience. I want to wish you all a Shabbat Shalom, and I can't wait to report to you again right here from JLA Ba'aretz.
Everyone together. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher quichanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu v'haresh haba. Amen.
יאללה, גז! עלה. Where they gonna give us a
Exile. This is how they used to write once upon a time. Now, why is this thing here?
Probably a warning or something. Maybe like a sign about a town.
Do you think this is original? Look at it for a second.
Oh no.
Why not original? It's an exhibition, right? It's embedded in this like modern concrete and stuff and all that. Okay. So why is it here? This was found here. And the original is about yay big. The 4 things you need to build an ancient city, we'll see that all of those will be here.
We're living here, we're ancient people, we're living here. What we could do is we could go out and we could onto the lower ground, right, outside the tell, and we could dig a well or dig a water source. But what could be the problem with that?
Contaminate the water.
But bam, you guys are great. Exactly. So number 1, our enemies could contaminate the water or take the water.
Oh, I wore the wrong shoes. Who said they were the wrong shoes?
They were pretty incredible at engineering. Yes, they found it. As you can see, when you go down, hold on to the rails. You see when you go down, remember we talked about Mesopotamian culture, and they had different gods, and we talked about the creation story. Exactly. They're for idols as well as vases. So when someone comes here, they get the water for the family or the water that they need, and they pour a little bit.
It's so scary.
The
You can actually see the ancient bricks that made up this gateway like 5,000 years ago. Now, no, but what they're doing here is that they're making sun-baked bricks, like they made them like 4,000 years ago, 5,000 years ago, to reconstruct part of the gate.
Yeah, but like, he's talking about past time.
Okay?
Oh, past time.
Yes.
Oh,
Nowadays,
okay.
thank God, nowadays we actually purify water
Okay, I
from
thought you were
the
talking about, like,
Mediterranean.
today's
Okay,
stuff.
most of the water we drink nowadays in Israel is desalinated water, and the natural water, like in the Canary, we use for water for the water.
Is that why it
crops.
tastes different?
What are the pillars? What are the pillars?
It's probably like walls.
Stonehenge. Okay, but then the question is, what's Stonehenge? Okay.
Like for like time.
So maybe time, right? Some kind of clock, astronomical, maybe. Okay, one possibility. Give me another one. What would it be today if you saw like stones in a park?
Like probably for shade. For like decorations.
Decoration, right? Maybe kind of. So what's the break in the wall then? It's the what of the city? The gate of the city. Ah, but wait a second. We already saw gate of the city.
Second gate?
There could be more than one.
You mean more than one?
Oh, because there were like 25 cities. They were destroyed. So
Two possibilities.
Bigger city.
2 gates to the same wall at the same time period, or different time period. The LED in the archaeology says, you know who built this gate? Hamelech Shlomo, King Solomon.
איש תמיד זה יהיה הפועל מכיר, ולא יודע. אני לא מכירה אתכם, לכן אני נותנת לכם דף עם שאלות כדי
מה עוד אתם לומדים במיאמי? יש עוד משהו אנחנו לומדים? אתם לומדים היסטוריה במיאמי? כן? לא? כן? יופי. Can you tell me one sentence?
אנחנו לומדים במיאמי היסטוריה.
מצוין. How can you combine both of the sentences? אנחנו
לומדים במיאמי
יופי.
היסטוריה
יופי.
גם
Excellent. וגם אנחנו לומדים מצוין. כל הכבוד. אז אנחנו לומדים גם עברית וגם היסטוריה, אבל אם אני...
In my opinion, if there was no violence and hatred, I think that the love and friendship that was shown in the book would have been overlooked.
I definitely think that there was some violence and hatred, but I would say the opposite, that there was more love and friendship. Like, for example, for Liesl and Rudy's friendship, they would, like, steal the books together, and I really think that's what they bonded on most of the time.
Like that, you have Lizel having bonding moments with Hans or Max, and then you also have like Rudy getting beaten up or the air raids, and it's just there's really good like balance of dramatic moments and like soft heartwarming moments.
Even though Hans and his son both came from like the same house, like it's very easy to like go on separate paths, and like yeah, I just feel like a lot of characters had their experiences with both sides.
I'm kind of thinking of it as a war between the hatred and the love, because it starts with obviously the Holocaust, and I kind of think of it as if love tries to fight back, and like the friendships and everything, and at the end, violence ends up winning by killing all of Liesel's family.
But the way that their friendship was just so like pure, even in like really hard times for them, because like imagine like you coming home and like you know that like there is not much for you. Like Liesel knew that her family's financial situation was really rough. Seeing that love throughout was super powerful.
You know, she could lose her dad, she could lose Rudy, she can lose her home, she could lose everything. But in the end of the day, there's always going to be books, there's always going to be literature, and she's always going to have that thing that she loves in.
It's a good point, because the truth is like ultimately her love for books is what got her to like is what led to everything throughout the story. And so like yeah, she lost all her family, but she did still have that passion.
One says dribble to the left. One says take 2 dribbles on the right, 2 dribbles on the left. All right. Who gets to 25? Never be the same.
Oh my God.
Good shooting.
I want to take you back to this moment, because this guy doesn't even know what I've done after our interaction. He has no idea what I've done. He has no idea what his actions led to. And I want to take you back to the moment where I told him I'm not Jewish, and he told me it doesn't matter. What matters is that you're a good person. And I hope that with your next shalom, you impact a person like me. Thank you.
One, see it?
You can't get that.
Look above your fingers, Gilboa. Give us the coordinates. 10.
Yeah, 10 and
Go up here, go up here. 10K, 10L. 10K, 10L. 10K, 10L, Gilboa. And right above Gilboa, Gan Hashlosha.
Right?
I did that in ice.
But what's gonna happen if you do like Sophia, right? You go like this. What's the difference?
you like don't get all wet. You can see what's going on.
Yes. You can see your enemies. If you get down on your belly and you lop up the water, what's gonna happen to you?
You're one that gets splashed in the face.
You're gonna probably lose your life. So anyone who kneeled down on their knee like Sophia did and brought it to them, they stayed, everybody else was sent home.
I have a question.
Yeah.
If the Canaanim were willing to like let the Jews like live among them, do you think the Jews still would have wanted to go to war with them to like get them out?
Good question. That's a dispute amongst the rabbis.
They can't see that each person has a light. So they think the army is much bigger than it really is. Halachot and laws, ways about how we're supposed to daven.
With like more emotion, it's like more true.
Exactly. 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 About saying them with using davening with your whole heart.
Oh my God, there's no one for you.
Yeah, I've always wanted to go to this circle. You know the circle where it's like just one circle where you can go around.
We've never taken that.
Eu acho que sempre traz. Você sempre tá estranho, seu ovelho de cabrito.
My photo. But somehow I got it back again.
Guys, come be in my photo.
Gustavo. And the witch calls up the prophet who had just died, Samuel, Shmuel, and he says, "What do I do?" And Shmuel says, "Why are you calling me up from the dead? That's not cool. We don't do that as Jews." And he tells him, "By the way, now that you call me up from the dead, I'll tell you what's going to happen. You're going to go to battle, and what's going to happen to you in that battle? You will die at the hands of the Philistines." And Shaul, knowing that that's what's going to happen, goes to battle. Because he has to lead the people, even though he knows that he won't survive it.
The trees are like disoriented, like they're very crooked. They're moving to the sun.
Good question. Don't have an immediate answer to that. Let's check it out.
Wind.
Okay.
And he cursed the mountain out of us.
Ord Wingate was the son of a Protestant minister, and he knew his Tanakh cold. He knew it really, really, really well.
Okay, so wait, you just split it and bite into it?
Yeah.
Wait.
These are ripe.
It's half bite it. I didn't bite it.
Actually not that good.
It's like if you need it. Oh. No, I don't think you take. Do you eat it? How do you want to try?
How is it?
It's actually really good. You want to try it?
JLA after 11.
My class that I'm jealous of who has never been to Yerushalayim, because I grew up here in the city. First time I stepped foot in the city, I was a year old. Harat Sofim. Anybody know what litzpot is? To look over. To look over, yeah. To look over, and litzpot in Hebrew is not just to look, because to look is lirot, but litzpot is to see deeper. It's a vision which sees beyond. Okay, what do I see? Well, I see hills, and I see buildings, and I see a golden dome.
And the tune goes like this. Yerushalayim shel zahav v'shel nechoshet v'shel or alo lechos
בשם נחושת